Hi there, I'm here in the studio and going live on a Sunday morning. I'm a little bit later than I thought I was going to be because I had a little bit of technical problems with computers and stuff. Today I want to just show you this mural. Now I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this because I don't know if I can get back far enough to show you where I'm at with the mural. So I'll see if I can I'm on an iPad stand here. I'm going to see if I can get really further back and then bring it down a little bit. I don't know if you can see that. And I'm hoping you'll be able to actually hear me okay without a separate microphone. But I'll just tilt it a little bit. This is a bit rough. So you can see down to the little landing down here. Oh, this is hard to point. Down through here. And that's the deck landing that's going to be finished off when I get on site, in the pebble pathway. So the pebble pathway going off into the distance has been tweaked, and also I've tweaked this little bridge here, and I've done the gum trees. Probably going to tweak them a little bit more because I think they're a little bit patterny. I think Modern Mind kicked in a bit with that. I'm going to just adjust that a little bit more. But I'm going to start putting critters into the landscape now. So I'm working from the back of the landscape forward, and which is opposite of what we do in class, but this is a totally different sort of painting style. So here's a little close-up of the pathway. See if I can get this down lower. That's the little bridge that I've done. I'm going to be adjusting these shadows. These shadows aren't quite right because I'm deciding that the light's coming sort of from this side here. So that means that shadow on the water there should be curved, and there should be some shadow out here as well from this post. So I'm going to play around with that a little bit. There's a few marks where I'm going to adjust things. I'm going to bring this jacaranda down in front of those bushes instead of having them behind. That looks a bit weird. But that's a close-up view. So I'll just jump back a little bit. This is really tricky because I'm looking at the reverse camera. So the flowers in the foreground, it's going to be really crazy with lots and lots of all sorts of detailed flowers over everywhere. It's just going to be this total mass of flowers. At the moment it just looks like a bit of a peaceful landscape with a bit of bold colour in the front. But there's my little table over there on the side. You can work out what this is. So this is my digital design I'm looking at here. So this is kind of the overview of what it is going to look like. This is what I did with the digital painting to show the client beforehand. So you can see the masses of flowers that are going to happen all the way around here in the inside here. So on this side there's frangipani, on this side there's mural with little tiny white flowers. Lots of little daisies everywhere and some special flowers the client wants, and then lots of Australian natives of grevilleas and callistemons and things in here, and then little native violets and all sorts of bird life all the way through here. So I'm going to start painting up in the trees up at the top here. I don't know if you can see this very well. There's actually a koala up in here in the tree, and there's also a pair of kookaburras here hiding, and there's also some sulphur-crested cockatoos over here. So that's one of the next things that I'm going to do on the mural is up in the trees up here. See if I can do this. Up in the trees up here I'm going to hide a little koala. The cockatoos are going to be up in here, I think, and then I think the koala, I might hide him. I don't know if I'll hide him in a branch here, or because they like being in a crook of a tree, koalas, so that's probably the best little crook of the tree there to hide him in. That's a bit invisible up there. People would spot him if he was here. And then I want some of them to be hidden and some to be, you can find them. Maybe the kookaburras might be up here on the branch, and then the sulphur-crested cockatoos, one above and one below over here. Yeah, I'm going to seal it on site because we have to disassemble this whole thing, and it's going to be very carefully done because we've got these joiner things here, and one of the worst things that can happen is the paint glues it all together and then it cracks when you pull it apart, and because the dry paint cracks and then it tears away from the panels. So there's a special technique that we use to just very carefully make sure that that's going to be a clean separation on there. And then so we separate it all into the 3 pieces, so then it's small enough to be transported because they're huge. They're like I think each panel was, let me have a look, each panel's like 1.8 by 1.3 meters. So 1.8 by 1.3 meters for each of those huge panels. So we've got to get the whole thing apart, and that's why I've got the top bar separate. Phil and I work out all the engineering of this sort of stuff beforehand, and it's really tricky to get it all thought through and how we're going to do it and how we're going to keep the painting in one piece without cracking everywhere and all that sort of stuff. So the bottom frame edge is not sitting down there because I've got a whole pile of little, there's little spaces down here to keep everything level all the way along there. So I can't put the bottom frame on the bottom there. So you've seen me possibly in the time lapses. If you've seen on the Illusion Murals website, the time lapses are starting to get put up there. I'm hiding the bottom bar up the top here on this rail that I've got in the studio. That's a really long frame bar across there. They've just snuck up on the shelf, and it's got the timber colour in the middle bit there. So that's what's going to be sitting down at the very bottom of it once it's installed. So yeah, it's all got to be sealed on site after we put it all back together again. So these are amazingly tricky engineering jobs, these sort of murals. So the next, I'm kind of working my way from the back towards the front. So the next thing I'm going to do is start putting in the little koala, wherever I'm going to put him, and then the other 2 lots of birds. And then after that, I'll be starting to work on the flowers, which is going to be a bit of fun. So lots and lots of frangipani flowers over here, because that one's fairly close to us. I might bring the leaves in the front here so that it's really clear that that's where the gum tree is, although I might have to think very carefully about where this bush is, whether it's in front of the gum tree or behind. I might bring the frangipani down a little bit further across the front of that bush, because it kind of looks, to me it looks like this frangipani tree is in front of this one. So I might just adjust that. It's kind of what's happening at the moment, is I'm kind of sort of shuffling the order of things as just to get the clarity in the painting on, because I've blocked in all those bushes there, but I've got to kind of be very, very clear about what's in front and what's behind. And so I think there's a bit of confusion there because this leaf is in front, but to me it looks like this bush is sort of back and behind. So I could get away with just bringing that across the front, but then I think it might be better to just bring this frangipani much closer because the leaves are so big, and then sort of cut into this corner here where the Bougainvillea is and just push that little bush into the behind the gum tree a bit. What do you think? Does anyone want to see, while I'm here, do you want to see a close-up of any particular spot? It always looks a lot better from a distance, like anybody's painting, which I'm sure you found with your paintings. It always looks much better from a distance. Does anyone want a close-up of a particular area? The people near the bridge. No, there isn't any people in here. Where do you think there's people? Or do you want me to paint them in? So there's no people in here. Where do you reckon there's people? There's probably little tree people or bush people. So, come back so you can see the whole thing. So, pebbles. So you want to see the pebbles near the bridge? Okay, sorry. So the pebbles near the bridge. So you're talking about these ones here. Pebbles near the bridge. There they are. What do you think? Do you think you could stumble across those in your high heels? And then on the other side of the bridge, they kind of get paler in the distance. So, and then you wander up the path all the way up into the far, far distance. Isn't that fun? So there's actually going to be tons of flowers, even out through here. Wait on. All the way through here, there's going to be lots of colour as well. Because there's masses and masses of colours of flowers all down through this area down here. I'll come back a bit. I'll just show you I'll put it back in the stand again so I don't drop this precious iPad. You're actually, right there, you're probably looking at it at the best point of the perspective. So hopefully that looks quite real where you're looking at it there. Because sometimes when you go from the side, it doesn't look quite right because the perspective is a bit wacky. The dimensions are Adelia. The dimensions are, where did I have it? I had a sheet. Oh, I read it off here. That's right. The whole mural is 4 meters wide by nearly 2 meters high. So there's 3 panels. There's lots of engineering to keep it all in one piece when we transport it over there to the suburb on the other side of the city. Love to walk the whole path. That's what everyone says when they see it. You like the path? Yeah, I'm really proud of the path too. And what I'm proud of in this painting, I'm always asking you to say what you're proud of in paintings. I really love the effect of going right far into the distance there. It's really funny. My bookkeeper, Leisha, we have a weekly meeting, and she said she was watching the time-lapse video of me painting the pebbles on the path, and she said she swore that at one stage in that time-lapse, the one that was on Facebook, she swore that I actually fell into the painting. Her eyes totally told her that I fell forwards flat on my face onto the pathway in the painting. So that's really funny if you watch that time-lapse again. I did again. I watched it again. I thought, I wonder if she means there. That's really funny. So if you want a bit of a laugh, the trick is like you just focus on the middle bit. You don't look around the edges and remember it's just a flat wall, but you just focus on what I'm doing, and it does look a bit like I fall flat on my face into the pathway while I'm painting it, which is really funny. She was laughing her head off. The jacarandas. You want to see the jacarandas? They're pretty basic at the moment. There's probably, I see what you mean. Yeah, the purple in the back. So this is the, I'll just take it, I'll carry it on the stand, it's probably safer. The jacarandas, I've just got sort of vague brush strokes. Let's look at this bit here. Vague sort of brush strokes here with a bit of variation in them, with some dark and some light. It's just an impression of jacaranda trees in full bloom. So it's nothing really exciting. It's just a bit of mad brush strokes. It was actually the basic first colour that I put in. So I'll probably just do a little bit of finicky detail over the top of it. And then over here it looks pretty. When you get really close you can see the joiner bar as well. I'm trying my best to try and hide it. So that's the jacarandas there. And then the little bougainvilleas, they look pretty rough at the moment because it's just kind of colour blocking going in. So lots of big brush strokes, but then I'll put the lots of detail of all the little bougainvillea flowers as well. Masses and masses of pink flowers of different varieties. So that's what that looks like. So has anyone else got any questions? So I think what I'm going to do while you're here, I might just fix up this shadow. That's really bugging me. That shadow on that bridge is really bugging me. So I'll get a paintbrush in my hand and fix that thing up. It's driving drives me mad. So just don't forget, this sort of session is going to be live and interactive for elites only in future. So it takes a bit to set it all up and get it all going. I'm just going to do some painting on here and fix that shadow. So let me get this reflection on the bridge. It's not a reflection actually, it's a shadow. So I'm going to curve it in, because if the sunlight's coming from this side, which is how I've kind of done these pebbles here, more shadow on that side of the plants than there is on this side. So the light is hitting this side of the rocks and there's a bit more shadow over that side. So if the light's coming through this way, then that wouldn't be a straight edge. You'd only get a straight edge there if the light was coming straight down on top. But it's coming from the side a bit, so that means that would be then a curved shadow. So I'm just going to curve this a little bit. It's going to go into the green there. This paint always goes on paler and then dries a bit darker. So then I've got to feather this into the greeniness of the reflection of that bank. So we've got shadows and reflections, the reflection of this coming down onto the water. So this is really tricky because this is kind of all in my imagination. I'm painting from imagination and trying to make it look real without having a photo reference. Come a bit closer. So people who are elites are going to be able to look right over my shoulder for some of these events. So that curve there is not very good, so I'm just going to fix that up. It's curving that way. I'm going to curve it a bit more this way. So I think that looks better. I think that gets more of the idea that the sun's coming from this side diagonally down, because having that bit of a curve there. So I'm just going to curve a little bit more. It's going to be very curvy, the same sort of curvature as the bridge. Doing curves in 3D is one of the hardest things to do in perspective. And then to add into it that it's from your imagination and not from an actual photo is a whole nother level of difficulty. But if you've got plenty of miles in the brush, you wouldn't have a problem with that. Noticing some of this colour's a bit different. I'll just feather that in a little bit. I think that looks a bit better. And this colour's a bit different too. Using a bit of brush magic. Right sort of brush strokes. That's better. So some of the paint, the water there's going to be a bit greeny, which is fine. It's a creek after all. bit of finger painting. I was thinking it might be nice to put some ducks on there. Good question, Debbie. The special team that does my installations is me and Phil. Hubby Phil and I do all the installations because then we know that it's going to be done the right way, and both of us have got technical engineering brains, so we can make sure that it's done the right way and the artwork's not damaged as well. So it's us personally looking after the baby as it goes from the studio across into the trailer or the ute. It's probably going to be on a trailer with blankets all around, and then Phil and I will cart it in and assemble it and then install it and seal it. So, what were you saying, me too, about, Sharon? Sorry, I missed that comment when you did it. What was the me too about? I forget what I was saying when you said that. Okay, so I think that's better. And I'll just feather a bit over here. This is really a feature point here with this this little bridge and everything, so I'm just gonna really pay attention here to what's happening around the ridge. Just gonna, I've got paint on me already. I'm just gonna adjust this reflection a little bit. And I'll probably put some shadows of the posts going down into there as well. So for example, this post here should be dropping a nice dark shadow across here. I'll make that nice and dark. As it wobbles across the ground there. And that already looks more like the light is coming across there. So there would probably be some shadow here dropping down, coming across to there as well. I'll wait till that blue's dry before I do that though. So there you go. There's a little bit of paint to fix up some things. I want to fix that post too, and I also want to drop down the tone of these peaks here. Because they're a bit too white. This looks like they've been painted white on top or something. These are all the little tweaks that I often just do at the very last minute. But while I'm here in this spot, why not? On the tail. So I think that's better, just notched down in tone. Just looks a bit more like wood without any paint on the top of it. Just the tiniest little glaze over the top, which I think is far more harmonious now. Just a tiny notch back in the tone ruler. I think that's way better. And on this side, Anything that finger painting can't fix. So that's better proportions for that post compared to that one. Tiny little details. Thanks for coming along today. Thanks for watching.